if someone is out there and then if they're struggling in silence and then they don't really know how to get help, but they know they should, what would you tell them to, like do? Like how can they approach? Like what would that first step be? Because everyone pretty much knows about that, right? Like especially nowadays, because it's talked about so often. So like what would that first step be if they don't really know what to do and then they're just keeping everything in themselves?
Well, there's some good books to read. There are some good. There's some good. I would say even if you think you have a trauma history and you don't think you're ready to do psychotherapy or counseling, like it just feels like it's a big step for you, I do actually think that trauma informed yoga is a really good
Okay,
place to start. I really
that's
do.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's not, it doesn't ask people to talk about their story. It's literally just yoga, but done in
Pretty
a way
interesting.
that's sensitive to people who have, um, uh, you know, who have a difficult past. And so there are certain ways in which certain strategies that they apply, or certain techniques that they apply, that just sort of make the whole thing a little bit easier. Some people do find traditional meditation, very difficult. So trauma informed yoga is easier for people who have a trauma history. So I would actually recommend doing that as a good place to start. Martial arts is another thing that people don't realize, I mean, is unbelievably helpful for trauma survivors. If you have
Yeah.
a trauma history and you're just like, listen, talking about this is uncomfortable for me. I'm listening to this video. It's interesting, but I'm not there yet. Martial arts. I mean, just straight up
Mm.
karate, and other kinds of martial arts. They build confidence. It builds discipline. It builds a sense of, and it should be a place that is not competitive and overly aggressive. So I would say a studio, a dojo where it has a reputation for being a little more on the gentle side. I mean, like a positive, supportive environment. I mean, of course, martial arts is, it's using your body and finding ways to use your aggression positively, and so. They're always going to, it's martial arts at the end of the day.
For
But
sure.
there are some that are, some dojos where they take a more, uh, um, caring kind of approach toward the participants. So just that would be the only thing that I would put in there. There's also martial arts for people who are trauma survivors. So that's another thing that people sometimes get involved with, specifically for that. So those are really good things that I would say for folks don't feel that they're ready yet to. But otherwise, I would say you can start the process of trauma informed counseling, trauma informed therapy. Find a therapist who's trained in trauma, a therapist who actually yeah, who's gotten good training. Buyer beware. There are some crappy therapists out there. And I'll be honest. There are some, not good therapists out there. Whoops, I don't know what's going on there. Um, there are some not so good therapists out there. So, be, be cautious. Make sure you do your homework on therapists, and if you feel like that it would be helpful, set up a little meeting with them in advance to ask them about their approach, ask them about their training. How did they learn? Have they worked with many trauma survivors? That sort of thing.
God, yeah. So it seems like, starting kind of like with the body, right? With, trauma informed yoga and like martial arts, which obviously is extremely helpful because, it's not just like a physical thing, like you're with a lot of people as well, right? So there's a huge like social component to it as well. So those are great places to start if you, want to start on like a physical level. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to go non-physical, then you would recommend do work to try and find a good therapist and slowly figure out how they approach it. and then kind of go from there.
Yes, I would say that that's all true. I would also say art
Hmm.
therapy and music therapy for trauma is also helpful for folks who don't yet feel comfortable talking about their story.
Hmm.
So there are trauma-informed art therapists and trauma-informed music therapists as well.
Really?
Yes, and
So it's
and
about like
so
expression, pretty much. Yeah.
exactly. So it's the therapist is aware that the person has a trauma history, but doesn't sort of ask them about details, but helps them find ways to express different feelings, and so that can be very helpful. Many people find it very helpful, and I strongly support it.
Got it. Okay. Art therapy, music therapy. Okay.
Yeah.